Welcome. I'm Kinetic Symphony. I hunt down and report on mysterious and weird true stories, from glitches to the paranormal. Case file number 174, written by Screw-Poo Loose. Our neighborhood gives off cryptic vibes. I recently moved into my first home out of college with my boyfriend. It seemed like a great neighborhood and the house was really nice. But then as soon as we started moving in, we got an uneasy feeling. Our neighbors would watch us as we moved in, but not in a normal way, if that makes sense. Like as soon as we started moving stuff, one of our neighbors would come out of their house, plant a chair on the lawn, and watch us. Even now, every time I glance at this particular neighbor's house, I see her peeking through the blinds watching me. She's not the only strange neighbor though. I've had multiple people from the neighborhood come up to me that I had never met come up and ask me about my boyfriend's jobs. They already knew where he worked before we had any conversations with our neighbors. I had plans with friends for Independence Day, and as I was getting ready to pull out of the driveway, I see my neighbor suddenly standing outside my car window. He asked me, "Are you trying to leave?" I told him, "Yes, I'm going to a 4th of July party." And he said, "Well, we have the road blocked off, so you won't be able to leave." I said, "Well, my boyfriend is going to have to leave because he works tonight." And he said, "Well, I guess we can remove the roadblocks, but just so you know, we have a 4th of July party every year, and the roadblock isn't that big of a deal. And I don't know, this wasn't that weird. But as I was driving away, a kid threw a firecracker at my car. Just a bit odd." One night, about a month after we moved in, my friends and I were hanging out on my deck, having a few beers and talking. Then we heard sirens and saw an ambulance and police officers driving across the neighborhood. We weren't super concerned until they pulled up to one of our other neighbors' houses. The woman who lived there was on her porch, screaming and crying to the officers, sobbing, yelling, "I cut him down! I cut him down!" Then they loaded her husband's body into the ambulance while we watched. We learned later that he had tried to take his own life, and he did pass away. The wife of the man who had died was very strange as well. She would randomly, not extremely often, but enough for it to be a pattern, would wander out of her house late at night around the neighborhood. We learned from our one normal neighbor that her wanderings happened long before the husband had taken his life. Finally, we have odd happenings in our house sometimes, where the lights flicker, our smoke alarms randomly go off, and I've even woken up with scratches up and down my arms. One night, I was laying on the couch and had fallen asleep. I woke to the sound of someone in the kitchen, and in my sleepy state, I assumed it was my boyfriend. But then I called his name and I heard no answer. I called again and asked what he was doing. But then I looked in the kitchen, I saw no one. Then, as soon as I looked, the deck light outside turned on. My boyfriend came out of our room and asked if I had heard someone in the kitchen too. I was creeped out, but I got up and went to the door by the deck to shut off the light. But when I did, I saw a neighbor on her own deck, standing perfectly still, staring at me. I was super spooked because it was late, like 2:30 a.m. at this point, and she was fully outside, posted and staring. She wasn't doing a task, wasn't smoking, nothing. Just standing and staring. I quickly shut off the light, and then went around to all the doors to make sure they were locked. But when I got to the front door, it was unlocked and opened 3 inches, which makes no sense because we have a habit of shutting and locking the doors every time we come inside, whether night or day. I locked it and we looked around the house to make sure no one was in there. We slept in our own room with the door locked that night. I don't know what to make of our experiences at this point. Every neighbor mentioned in this post is a different neighbor, and the whole neighborhood just has an off vibe. My friends think, and I hate to think this, that my neighbors are somehow involved in all the strange occurrences in the house, and that they aren't necessarily watching me when they're staring, but rather watching all the entities or vibes or anything like that around the house. I really don't know. I can't help but feel uneasy, but any theories would be welcome to explain what the heck is going on. Has anyone else experienced something similar? Case notes, file number 174. This is very creepy, absolutely. Are the standard spirits or demons involved? I can't say for sure. What tips me to the side of this being almost a sort of cult in your neighborhood, or just a really odd or possibly dangerous group, is you woke up with scratches on your arms. Entities shouldn't be able to physically harm you in that way. Although why would any human do that either, I don't know. Others here have mentioned the people in your community might have been friends with the previous homeowners. They might have a key. I think it's sound advice to change your locks and get some security cameras. If anything, you'll be able to confirm what the issue is and then assess if it's something you can deal with. Everyone should feel safe in their own homes. Case file number 175, written by Insidious Expert. Hey, cool, shades on my head. How the hell did they get there? I was ready to go lay down in my bed after a long day. I had gone out to dinner at 7 with some friends. My friend took a group photo. Then, after getting home, I hopped into my hot tub for 30 minutes because I'm sore from some intensive landscaping work. I got out, dried off, put on dry clothes, and then went to my bed. Right before I laid down, I scratched my head. There were sunglasses on my head. I'm legitimately confused as all hell right now, and it just doesn't feel right. I mentioned the group photo before because I did not have sunglasses on me at the time. It was dark out when I left, so I wouldn't have worn them after. Then I was in the hot tub, touched my head multiple times, had to pull my shirt off to get in, dried off with a towel afterwards, and put on a new shirt. I walked straight from the bathroom after changing, into my bedroom. What the hell? It just doesn't make sense. Case notes, file number 175. There was another commenter here mentioning, it's conceivable that you were just so tired you somehow didn't realize you put your shades on your head after getting out of the hot tub. But even when that tired, I don't think it's usual to do completely random acts. As you say, it was night, so why would you ever do that, even if you were just so tired you were on autopilot? That wouldn't be an act you would take on autopilot, at least not in my head. Personally, I like the theory that this was a restless spirit, only in the sense that he's lonely and tremendously bored. In that context, he'd just be messing with people's heads for fun. And let's all be perfectly frank, if we turned into generally undetectable spirits, we'd have some fun with that invisibility, wouldn't we? I know I would. I'd just do small pranks, saran wrap on the toilet, changing out whipped cream for mayo. Okay, maybe I am a little evil. If you enjoyed these stories, give the video a like.